Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's second video. Going to have a look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us to the 28th of December, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, because maybe around a couple of weeks we'll have a look at the CFSB2 at the end of the video next 4 weeks, and that gets us well into January. I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video today was our 6 AM upload, so if you've not checked that one out, please do so. Like, share, subscribe on the video. Thank you so much, everybody. For doing that. How are you having a lovely summer? Just 1 week away now. Wow, 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 wow. 1 week from Christmas Day. Can you believe it? Goodness gracious me. Right, so get serious. We're going to start off with weather warnings at the UK Met Office. We've got warnings galore today. Only Northern Ireland is outside of a warning zone, so we've got yellow warning for snow and ice in the north. We've got an amber ice warning for northern England. Then we've got rain and ice warnings, yellow warnings down south. We're going to focus on the amber warning. Quite unusual to see an amber warning for freezing rain. This is running until 8 PM this evening. No, we're right in the middle of that at the moment, of course. A period of freezing rain and some snow will lead to travel disruption. And what they're saying is that injuries on sticks and falls and danger to life on icy surfaces are possible. Not very often see that, a danger to life warning from the UK Met. So if you're in that area, do please take care. Right, by stay indoors this afternoon and into the evening if you possibly can. But if you've got to go out, then please, you know, take care. It's going to be very icy, very dicey up there. Look after yourself. Most places are still cold, so we've got temperatures hovering around -1, freezing -1 across many of these eastern and northeastern parts of the country. Church Lawford is up to +2 now. Cranfield at just +1. Lakenheath at +2. Lake Thorncliffe is at freezing as well. But it does get a lot milder down in the far southwest. So Oak Park Carlow is at +9. And Northwick is at +11. Newquay is at +12. And Camborne is at +12 as well. These milder temperatures are on their way in. And once we push this wet weather through the country, we are going to do that through the course of the afternoon and the evening. Those mild temperatures will establish. So, it's the current radar picture from Weather Outlook. Very wet down in the south. This is where the freezing rain is, I think, across the northern parts of England in particular. And rain, snow up over Scotland as well. I'll just explain freezing rain a little bit. Quite unusual for us to get that. It's something that we tend to get in our colder winters. And as most of our winters are mild, we tend not to get much in way of freezing rain. But I remember, like, 95, 96 had a couple of freezing rain events. One at the end of December, I think 30th December, and then another one, and a more significant one, late in January of 96, when it was about 24th January 1996, where we had actually a bit of an ice storm, and I woke up the next morning here in Northampton, everything was covered in a glaze. It looked absolutely amazing, but very, very lethal. There were, you know, loads and loads of injuries and falls and accidents and that. Freezing rain, about the most dangerous phenomenon that you can get when it leads to sheet ice. Anyway, this is explanation for freezing rain. So we've got southerly southwest winds establishing today, clearing out the cold air. So the upper air temperatures are on the rise. Where we've got this yellow line just here, that's where the 858 grade temperature has gone up to or above freezing. So in this green area between freezing and -5 at 858 PA, it can snow in that area if the cold air has established. And it has been established for several days and a couple of weeks, as we know. In this yellow area, though, it can never snow. When the upper air temperature goes to freezing or above, you can't get snow. It will only rain. However, if the dew point is below freezing, if the surface temperature basically is at or below freezing, then that rain will freeze as it hits the surface, and that is how you get freezing rain. That's how you get sheet ice, and that is how you get sometimes you know, a proper bona fide ice storm. And that's a scenario that we've got today. Now, as the day wears on, those milder upper air temperatures will be encroaching further and further northwards. So the freezing rain risk will go further northwards, but eventually the milder air is going further northwards as well. And we see that the dew points lifting up above freezing away from Scotland and the far north of England by 6 p.m. this evening. Much of England, Wales, actually looking relatively mild with the dew point by that point. So that explains freezing rain and, also snow. So can occur between when the upper air temperature is between freezing and -5 if cold air has established. But if the upper air temperature goes above freezing, it can't snow, it rains. If the dew point is still freezing around the surface, then that rain will freeze. Right, let's move on and have a look at the stratosphere. So I haven't looked at this since I went to New York, so I thought I'd have a quick look at the stratospheric developments today. So the grey line is the trend line for this time of year in terms of temperature at 10 HPA in the stratosphere. The black line shows where we've been and where we currently are with the temperature at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole. So we're actually a bit colder than average with the temperature at 10 HPA. It did go very cold actually at the start of December. We went under -80. We've now lifted that up to around -75, something like that. So a little bit below average, though. You'd not really associate like a colder than average stratospheric temperature that we've got there, we've had, with an increase in the strength of the polar vortex, because we haven't had that this December so far. What we've actually had is a lot of non-blocking. So we've had a decoupling between the stratosphere and the troposphere through this December so far. The stratosphere has been primed, for quite a strong polar vortex and westerlies and whatnot. But the troposphere has had a northern blocking signal. We might now be starting to see signs of the troposphere and the stratosphere beginning to couple up, and we might be going into a more active phase with the stratospheric polar vortex. Going a little bit low down to 30 HPA, that's closer to the troposphere, of course. We find that the temperature is also a bit colder than average, not as dramatically so as it has been at 10 HPA, but also a little bit under par, a little bit underneath that grey line. So colder than, slightly colder than average at 30 HPA, colder than average at 10 HPA. As I say, that would normally be associated with a strengthened stratospheric polar vortex. We've had a decoupling between the troposphere and the stratosphere up to this point, but we could be starting to see the trop and the strat beginning to couple. This is how temperature forecasts are looking in terms of the temperature at 10 HPA over the Arctic and the North Pole for the next couple of weeks from the GFS 6 there, that Metrocella. We've got these blue and purple colours. These are the cold temperatures in the stratosphere, particularly focused on Greenland, you'll notice, but generally looking quite cold across much of the stratosphere at the moment. Let's see what happens as we run up towards Christmas. So we get quite a significant warming of the stratosphere over America, bring up towards Christmas, and also a little bit over Siberia. It's not a sudden stratospheric warming, but, we have got some warming on the edges. But over the pole, over the Arctic itself, actually we have cold temperatures. But temperatures getting colder over the North Pole, actually, going back towards mid-80s. So on this, let's go back to 10 HPA. On this, as we get towards Christmas, we're probably going to see this black line dropping to that sort of level, actually, as we move towards Christmas. Could get quite a significant drop in the in the stratospheric temperature there at 10 HPA. Right, let's carry on, see what happens. So this warming continues over America. It's not reaching anything that's going to impact the stratosphere, but of note, but there is a warming taking place over America as we go to the Christmas period in the stratosphere. What happens in the extended range? So we just keep those cold temperatures going, really. No sign of any particularly significant warming of the stratosphere up to the 3rd of January. Again, we've got a modest warming taking place over Siberia. That's not reaching sudden stratospheric warming levels, but we have got a modest warming over Siberia there by the 3rd of January. But up to then, there's no sign of a sudden stratospheric warming, so the wait continues for that. We are expecting to get a sudden stratospheric warming this winter due to the strength of the Siberian high, but we started off with at the beginning of the winter. We think that's going to promote planetary waves, and those planetary waves should promote a sudden stratospheric warming at some point through this winter. But when that happens, is very uncertain. So the wait goes on. And, of course, we'll keep you informed. Right, so let's move on to centering temperature. So, the CET has ticked down a little bit more. It's now sitting at 0.4 degrees, which is 4.1 degrees below the 61 to 1990 average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 17th of December. That's about as low as it's going to get. I think it might just shave off another 0.1 of a degree when this updates tomorrow, because we are having a cold day today. But then again, the highest temperature could occur late on today. So that's probably about as low as it's going to get. And then the trend is going to be upwards towards Christmas. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. We're at Birmingham today, so the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Birmingham. We're going above average. I haven't been able to say that for a little while. Going above average with the upper air temperatures in the next few days. Heading towards Christmas, though, we do see that the upper air temperatures are sliding away, actually, over and just after Christmas. And we have got some quite cold ensemble members there, actually. We've got some of these are going down minus 10 at 850 HPA. In this recent cold spell, we haven't got the temperature down, upper air temperature down to minus 10 at 850 HPA at any point, but we could be getting a little bit of that for a couple of days just after Christmas. By New Year, it looks like the upper air temperatures are starting to stage a little bit of a recovery. Precipitation-wise, going to be quite a bit of unsettled weather to come as well, especially running up towards Christmas. Several bouts of rain coming through then. After Christmas, probably going a little bit drier in this period here, but still with some precipitation around. If it's cold enough, that might turn a little bit wintry, and then maybe go wetter again towards the new year. Should we have a look at Snow Row, see how that's looking for Birmingham. So there is some snow spikes there for just after Christmas period. That's Christmas Eve, just there, and that's 28th of December, just better. In this window here, which does play nicely through Christmas, actually, and particularly around Boxing Day. There are several ensemble members there that are producing snow. How interesting. Maybe Christmas isn't done and dusted after all. Shall we have a look at the extended ensembles, see what they're doing. If we can have a look at them. No, we can't have a look at them again today, so we'll move on from that very quickly. Right, so temperature, and forget that happened, temperature anomalies on the 18th, 26th of December, going to be milder than average for Ireland, England, Wales, a little bit colder than average for Scotland. Precipitation anomalies from the 18th, 26th of December, wetter than normal. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that we're changing the wind direction today. Those cold easterly and northerly winds, they're being shoved away to the north of the country, and we're introducing a milder push of air from the south and from the southwest, dragging the map down a little bit. You can see that those northerlies aren't far away. The northerly northeasters are still there, but they're generally retreating to the north of Scotland now. Let's go through the chart data then. So this is how the UK Met Euro run. It's looking midnight on Wednesday. Low pressure dominates weather, wet and windy. And into Thursday and Friday, staying unsettled with low pressure and further bouts of rain in from off the Atlantic. That's Saturday, Christmas Eve at midnight. Low pressure rain clearing out into the North Sea. Colder air beginning to slip southwards back into Scotland. By the time we get through to midnight on Christmas Day, we look like that. So cold air has come southwards through Scotland, just approaching Northern Ireland and Northern England. Elsewhere, still relatively mild down in the south. There's the -5 Celsius isotherm there, nicely through southern Scotland and into Northern England. Will that cold air come further southwards through Christmas Day and into Boxing Day? Icon looks like that. Low pressure bringing further wet, windy weather in from off the Atlantic on Wednesday. More bouts of rain in Thursday and Friday as well. That low pressure clears through into Saturday. Christmas Eve, cold air beginning to push southwards into Scotland. Still relatively mild though for England and Wales. Remember, next low pressure coming in as we go into Sunday, which of course is Christmas Day. That keeps the south relatively mild, but Scotland is cold on the divide, which is probably going to be somewhere around southern Scotland. There might even be a little bit of snow with that. GFS midnight run. Again, wet windy on Wednesday. And then we go through to Thursday and Friday. More bouts of wind and rain coming in from off the Atlantic into Christmas Eve. Again, low pressures bring further wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic. By Christmas Day, cold air begins to push southwards into Scotland. Still relatively mild for central parts of England and Wales. -5 Celsius iceberg moving down into Northern Ireland, Northern England. Midnight on Christmas Day. Notice -10 Celsius iceberg getting into Northern Scotland, which is very cold air that's coming southwards. By the time you get through to Boxing Day, actually we push that cold air south and built a ridge in from off the Atlantic. So look at this, by Boxing Day, or this is Christmas night really, into Boxing Day, we've got -10 Celsius isotherm covering the northern half of the country, and that will probably bring snow showers into northern, eastern and northeastern areas as well, by the way. High pressure is sitting around the country just after Christmas. It's a very cold area of high pressure with those bitterly cold upper air temperatures. So daytime temperatures will again be hovering close to freezing. Significant overnight frost under that ridge of high pressure as well. Heading up towards the new year, milder air begins to establish to the north of the high. So it turns milder in the northern half of the country towards new year. Probably still quite cold and frosty though down in the south. A romantic sort of frosty new year. Maybe a little bit of a gruesome twosome by the time we get to new year. That's how we finish up with the GFS midnight run. Still anticyclonic, probably still cold and frosty down in the south. It is milder further north and west. Let's have a look at the precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run, shall we? So here's all wet weather piling in from off the Atlantic in the next few days. We are going to have a little bit of an onslaught until we get up towards Christmas, then things will dry out. That's Friday. Even Christmas Eve looking really wet across the country, and as cold air digs in Scotland, some of that starts to turn to snow over Scotland on the 23rd of December. That's Christmas Eve itself, still snow itself, I should say, still snowing across Scotland. Then some quite heavy snow there for Scotland, a proper white Christmas for Scotland. How exciting, just damp for Northern Ireland, England and Wales, I'm afraid. And then to Christmas Day, that snow starts to come southwards, heading towards northern parts of England. So maybe a little snow around for northern England on Christmas Day. A few wintry showers, even getting down in towards Wales and the Midlands there on Christmas Day afternoon. Lots of snow showers packing in to northern and northeastern parts of Scotland as well. You'll notice some wet weather in the south into Boxing Day. That turns to snow as it encounters the cold air. So a little bit of snow for more southern parts of the country on Boxing Day. Whoops, let's get rid of that. Some snow for southern parts of the country on Boxing Day. And then, of course, high pressure builds in and eventually turns dry. But there's snow around this Christmas on that GFS midnight run. How interesting. What about the GFS 6 then? So again, low pressure bringing another onslaught type scenario through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Lots of bouts of winter rain coming in from off the Atlantic into Christmas. We find that the low pressure gradually drifts eastwards. Colder air begins to push down from the north by 10 Celsius iceberg into northern Scotland by 6 AM on Boxing Day. And by the time you get through the 27th of December, that cold air is moving south across the whole country by 10 Celsius iceberg into northern parts of England. Not for long, we quickly go back into a milder, wetter, windier scenario between Christmas and New Year, and that's how look as we get to the New Year. Very mild, dragging up a long fetch southwesterly from the Azores. So a little bit of a New Year heat wave. What's the precipitation forecast looking like based on that GFS 6 then? Run again, lots of rain come over the next few days. We get in towards a Christmas period. That's 23rd of December, and we start seeing some snow turning up over Scotland. So same idea, Scotland could be in for some quite heavy snow on the 23rd of December and into Christmas Eve as well. White Christmas up there. Elsewhere, too mild for that, just rain. And then into Christmas Day and Boxing Day, wintry showers coming southwards. And there's a few of them around, you know, so even like the England Wales, there could be some wintry showers around as we get into the end of the Christmas period, Boxing Day and 27th of December. A little bit less winter, I think, with the GFS 6 then compared to the midnight run. But both are signaling, you know, a white Christmas for Scotland. GM, if you're enjoying this video, please can you like, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We thank you so very much everybody for doing that. GM, again with low pressure, bringing further bouts of wind and rain across the country through the middle part of the week, and then into Christmas period, we find that low pressure drifting eastwards, colder air begins to move southwards on Christmas Day. So we go into quite a cold Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and 27th of December, all looking quite cold. There will be a risk of snow, especially for more northern areas. That's how the upper air temperatures look by the 28%, minus 10 Celsius iceberg. Getting into northern Scotland. That, of course, is day 10. And then the ECM WF looks like this. Once more, it's wet and windy on Wednesday, and then into the Christmas period, low pressure moving through the country, cold air beginning to push down from the north, so it turns to temporarily, very briefly, a little bit colder around Christmas Day, but not for long. The next low is coming back in for Boxing Day. So, out of what miles the ECM is the mildest over the Christmas period, I think. Eventually, we start to pull something a bit colder back in again by day 10. There's some precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from meteo.com. Loads of bouts of rain coming and going over the next few hours. That gets us to Christmas Day, where to Boxing Day, where we do get some snow across northern England and Scotland, rain across England and Wales, and further bouts of rain till around day 10, and then the shower turn readily wintry in many parts of the country. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10. Gets us to the 28th of December. 30 members of the ECM ensemble, including control and the operation road, with low pressure through the country, delaying this cold air getting in from the north, but it does eventually get there. And 21 with high pressure just out to our west, and that's bringing down a cold northerly wind, of course, in line with the GFS output, for example. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us into the new year, 2nd of January. 17 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure through the country, northern blocking towards the Canadian side of Greenland. That's going to be relatively mild, wet and windy. 13 with high pressure reaching just to our west and northwest. We're going to be bringing colder air from the north with that, you would have thought. 12 with high pressure to our east, low pressure to our west, bringing up like a southerly southeast. That's probably going to be quite mild. And then 9 down here, back into the freezer potentially, with extensive northern blocking and low pressure to the south. That will be bringing the wind back in from the east and the northeast, and that will be a very cold and wintry start to 2023. But of course, only 9 members of the ECM ensembles doing that. And finally, CFSV2, these are 500 millibar heights and is broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 18th to 24th of December. The coming week looks unsettled, with low pressure in from off the Atlantic, high pressure into our south, winds coming in from a west or southwesterly direction, relatively unsettled, and for a while anyway, will be milder. Week 2 will be the 25th of December, Christmas Day to New Year's Eve, 31st. High pressure out west, low pressure over Scandinavia. That takes us back into something a bit colder from the north and from the northwest again, probably. Week 3 is going to be the 1st to the 7th of January. This looks quite wintry, potentially. Mid-Atlantic ridge extending back towards northern blocking. Low pressure is around Svalbard, and we might be bringing quite a cold northerly there, I would have thought. So cold start to 2023. And then week 4 goes milder into the 8th to the 14th of January. The high pressure goes southwards. Low pressure develops to the north. The winds are back in to the west. So, of course, that's a milder second week to January. And we're done. If you enjoyed the video, then please can you like, subscribe, and show to everybody for doing that. And why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We thank you so very much, everyone, for doing that for us. Right, that's it for today's videos. Tomorrow, we're going to have the 6 AM upload. I have a 10 to 14 dayer. I'm going to try and get another episode installment of Christmas Countdown in. And we will be live streaming as well at 8 PM. And I think they'll bring back Ensembles Watch. So the Monday live streams have been devoted to the long range, of course, recently. We will carry on looking at the long range a little bit. But I think we might shift the focus of the Monday live streams towards Ensembles Watch. How does that sound? Why not have an Ensembles Watch looking at the Christmas to New Year period? That'll be coming up at 8 PM tomorrow. I shall see you, hopefully, for that one. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And for this video, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.